This is from at Andy Kinsella over on Twitter, excuse me. Syracuse leads the nation in rushing this year. I asked for hot takes, so pretty much was expecting something like this, to be honest. I mean, that's a hot take, right? Syracuse leading the nation in rushing. I'm going to let you know right now, Andy, with all due respect, I appreciate the submission, and there's a reason why I'm featuring it on this show. That's not happening. Syracuse football will not lead the nation in rushing. There is no chance that happens. In order for a team in college football to lead the nation in rushing, talking every team around the country to be number one, you got to average, give or take, on any given year, sometimes more, sometimes less, about 300 rushing yards per game. 300. Syracuse football is not averaging 300 rushing yards a game next year, in large part because, forget the fact that you're going to need to be efficient, they're not going to run the ball enough for that to happen. Even if Rickie Collins is the starting quarterback, which we can get to right now in just a second, okay? We can get to that and talk about where Syracuse's rushing offense could be if Rickie Collins was the quarterback. They're not going to have the volume to do it. Last year, I believe Army led the nation in rushing over 300 yards per game. They ran the football, I believe, 80 to 90% of the time. Syracuse's offense is going to be more balanced, obviously, than that. So they're not going to have enough opportunities to actually lead the nation in rushing this upcoming season. Now, a more realistic hot take is that Syracuse leads the ACC in rushing yards per game. Miami actually led the conference in rushing last season, even with a guy like Cam Ward throwing for 1 billion yards last year. They did it with the elite quarterback who was throwing the ball a ton as well. So it can be done where you have a quarterback throwing the ball a ton, but you still lead the ACC in rushing. And if Rickie Collins is the starting quarterback, well, that gives Syracuse more mobility. You know that he can scramble and use his legs, so he's going to get rushing yards as well, which improves the team rushing game in general. In fact, in 2021, Syracuse actually led the ACC in rushing yards per game. I believe it was 213 yards. How so? Well, for starters, that year, Sean Tucker set Syracuse's single season rushing record. That helps. Number two, Garrett Schrader was the quarterback for the most part, and he stayed healthy for the most part that season. And so he was running the ball a ton. Sean Tucker was running the ball a ton. And Oronde Gadsden, he was at Syracuse, hadn't quite yet broken out just yet. 2022 is where he broke out and emerged as a big-time threat in the passing game. So all that to say is Syracuse going to lead the nation in rushing? No. They're not going to run the ball enough to be able to lead the nation in rushing. Could they lead the ACC in rushing? That's a more realistic hot take, because if you have Rickie Collins as your quarterback, maybe he chips in enough. Yassine Willis could give you, hopefully, maybe 1,000 yards. You get some from Will Nixon, and la-di-da, you actually end up leading the ACC in rushing after last year being one of the lower-rated teams in the ACC in rushing. So that's what I got to say about that. And coming up now, this is a hot take. Here we go. Let's just put it up on the screen right now. From at Mike Duda. A QB will transfer out before Halloween. It's not impossible to imagine a scenario like this, because we have seen quarterbacks leave their team mid-season. In fact, you want to go look at the ACC last year? Thomas Castellanos over at Boston College. Remember how his career ended there? Syracuse game, gets benched, quits. That's right. He quit the team. So it can happen. And there is a QB battle over at Syracuse, right? You got Steve Angeli, you got Rickie Collins, and someone is going to win that job. I don't know who it's going to be, but someone will win that job. And if the winner were to excel in that position, right? Let's say Rickie Collins wins the job and the hot take comes true where he's on pace to lead the ACC in yards and in touchdowns. Well, would Steve Angeli transfer out? Would someone below Steve Angeli in the depth chart transfer out before Halloween? It's not impossible, but I think it's also very, very unlikely for a quarterback from Syracuse to transfer out midseason. I'm sorry. I really can't get behind it. And I can't get behind the logic behind why someone would want to transfer out midseason. Off-season's a different conversation. But during the year, if you're a quarterback, especially the backup, you're one snap away. That's your mentality. You are one snap away. Tom Brady, who many consider to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Remember how he got his start. I'm a New York Jets fan, so it pains me. Mo Lewis knocks out Drew Bledsoe. In comes Tom Brady. We know the rest is history, right? But there's more recent examples than Tom Brady. College and pro. I mean, how about Brock Purdy? Was the third or the fourth string quarterback for the 49ers his rookie season. But Trey Lance goes down. Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt. All of a sudden, Brock Purdy's given an opportunity to lead the San Francisco 49ers. And you know what? Since that point, he has been their quarterback. And he inked himself a pretty nice contract extension, getting hundreds of millions of dollars. You want to go talk about college football examples? How about Cardale Jones? JT Barrett in 2014 gets hurt against Michigan in a really unfortunate injury. In comes Cardale Jones. They win the Big Ten championship. They sneak into the college football playoff as a result of that blowout over Wisconsin, and they win the national championship with Cardale Jones. Why would a quarterback transfer out midseason, even if they lose a quarterback battle job? Because one of them is going to be the backup. And your mentality has to be as the backup is you are one snap away. Unfortunately, in football, injuries happen. Underperformance can also happen. So, no, I don't see a quarterback leaving by Halloween. I just don't think it makes any sense to do that because you always have the chance of playing. Now, off-season? Sure. It's likely that one of the two quarterbacks, Steve Angeli or Rickie Collins, leaves in the offseason because they don't want to be the backup anymore. And that's totally fine. That's totally reasonable. I think we'd all understand that. But to leave during the year, that just doesn't make sense for either of them to do, even if they don't win the job. So it's a hot take to say that a quarterback for Syracuse is going to leave before Halloween. There is a scenario where that could technically happen, and it's not unprecedented in college football for that to occur. But I am not behind this hot take that Syracuse is going to have a quarterback leave at some point during the season.